Hello everybody and welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you are returning. My name is Jessica. We are here to film an update for my 2022 Pan That palette, which is none other than the well-known, the infamous, the cult classic, the ABH Modern Renaissance palette. I know, how original. I'm so excited to show you how well I've done in the past month. Pan That palette is a project where you are trying to pan a singular eyeshadow palette over the course of a year. My goal is just to use up this palette as much as possible. I'm not going to completely finish it up, but we will see how much progress I'm able to make over 12 months. So far, really enjoying this project. This is the first time I've done a Pan That palette, and it is so satisfying to see so much progress on one palette over the course of the year. We are now, 4 months into this, and this palette looks very well used, which makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside. And hopefully it makes you feel good too, which is why you're here. Let's go ahead and see the progress I've made. I'll insert a video here of what my palette was looking like last month. And here is what we have this month. We definitely have some progress to talk about today, including a new pan. So let's go ahead and go through this palette shade by shade. The first shade in the palette is Tempera, and I was so hoping to have this used up in the course of this past month. We are so very close. I have used this shade a whopping 30 times since the last update. So I definitely was making my best effort to use it up, and we are getting close. You can see I have side pan here and up there with a little bit of remaining product lingering in the corner and around those edges. I know for certain that this shade will be gone in the next update, being my first empty in the palette. I'm excited to get to that point and share with you an empty pan in my next update. We're almost there. I basically use this shade to set my eyeshadow primer, or if I'm not wearing a primer that day, I just put it as my first eyeshadow all over the lid for my other shades to blend over. And I use it to blend out any harsh edges on my eyeshadow looks, and it works great for that for my skin tone. I've now used this shade 97 times, so that is impressive over the course of the past few months. It'll be interesting to see how many more uses it takes to use up the remainder of that shadow. Next, we have Golden Ochre. I've used this shade 7 times in the past month, bringing my total to 19 uses, and I think I have expanded the pan in that 7 uses. You can compare it to the close-ups that I am inserting here. This shade is not super pigmented on my skin tone. I have been using it as my first transition. It is very subtle, and so I'm able to build it up using a lot of the product, and I'm hoping to expand that shade quite a bit more in the next few months. Next, we have Vermeer. I did use this shade 12 times this month, bringing me to a total of 48 uses in this project. I basically just use this as an inner corner highlight, as well as sometimes to top my lid with on top of other shadows. I don't think you'll see a lot of difference on it this month because I use quite a small amount every time I use it, but I have used it. And once I'm finished with my highlighter from my project pan, I'm going to really focus on these 2 shades, use them as face highlighters. They work very well for that, and get some dramatic use on them very soon. Next, we have Buon Fresco, one of my favorite shades in the palette. I used this shade 10 times in the past month, bringing me to a total of 32 uses, and I'm hoping you'll be able to see an expanded pan on there. I have been working on other purples in my Pan Those eyeshadows, and this has paired very nicely with those. So it's been very easy for me to use, and I just love wearing those mauve tones on my eyes in general. So I'm really hoping that this will be a shade I can almost use up, if not completely use up, over the span of this year. Next, we have Antique Bronze, and this was a shade that I was hoping to expand pan on over the last few months. It hasn't gotten a ton of uses in this project, but in the past month, I did managed to reach for it 3 times, bringing me to a total of 5 uses in this project. And I hope you'll be able to see that the pan is a little bit larger, and I will be trying to use this one a little bit more. This shade is more of just like a shimmery brown when you get lipstick all over my teeth. This shade basically comes off as like a shimmery brown on the eye. It's quite neutral and easy to wear if I actually manage to wear it. So I'm definitely going to try and get some more use on that, more so than I have been. But at least we got 3 uses on it, and that's better than I can say for previous months. Next we have Love Letter. I've only used this shade one time. You probably won't be able to see any difference, but I've used it 13 times total in this project. I have been really trying to focus on this shade, trying to hit pan on it, so this one has fallen by the wayside. I've been thinking I would like to try and use these pink shades as blushes in the span of this project so I can make more dramatic progress on these two. I don't wear them a ton. I've kind of been burnt out a little bit on pink looks. Actually did use this on my eye look today, just a little bit on that outer crease, and it works really well with pink and purple looks, so that makes it quite versatile. And you also can buff this out to look pretty neutral on the lid, depending on what you pair it with. Cypress Umber is the next shade. I've used this 9 times in the past month, bringing me to a total of 38 uses, and I hope you will see that the pan is a little bit bigger. I was mixing this with another shade to use in my eyebrows, and it worked very well for that. I haven't done that in quite a bit because I'm working on another eyebrow product in my project pan. Gave this one a little bit of a break, but I know that that'll be a very reliable way to use it and get some solid progress on it in the future of this project, so I'm not too worried about that one. It's a beautiful brown. I really love it. And it's so blendable, and I love browns. I do. I love brown eyeshadows. I'm not worried about using this one. I know it's going to get some steady progress over the course of this project. That brings us to Raw Sienna in this lower corner. I have used this shade only 4 times in the past month, bringing me to 14 uses in this project. And I don't know how much of a difference you'll be able to see in the pan. This is a good transition shade for me. I kind of take turns going between these two, and I hope to expand pan on this more in the next updates. Well, of course I want to expand pan on all of them, but this one I don't think will be a problem to do so. It'll be an easy one for me to continue to see progress on. Next we have Burnt Orange. I reached for this 9 times in the past month, bringing me to a total of 31 uses in this project. I hope you'll get to see a larger pan in there. I love this shade. It's probably my favorite warm tone transition shade in this palette. I wore it a lot with quite a few looks this month. Anytime I was doing a neutral crease, it was in it. So that one too will be used quite easily, and I won't have to worry about focusing on that. It just happens naturally because I love it so much. And next we have Primavera, another shade that I use as an inner corner highlight. I've used this 11 times in the past month, but again, just a very little bit of product. I do wear this on the lid sometimes. I've now used it 45 times total, and I hope you might see a little bit of an expansion, but maybe not a lot, and that's okay. We're gonna get some focus on this one soon, I know it. Next we have Red Ochre. This one here, I only used this shade 1 time in the past month, but at least I used it once. I've used it now a total of 8 times in this project. I had quite a significant dip on it before this project even started, so that is why I was able to hit pan on it so quickly. I would like to use this one more. I used this all over the lid as a base and topped my eyeshadows with it, and that actually worked pretty nicely. I might try and use it that way a few more times. This really does blend out onto the eyelid as more of like a warm brown. So if I embrace it that way a little bit more and stop thinking of it as a red eyeshadow, I think I'll be able to get some more use on it pretty easily. Next we have Venetian Red. I was really focused on this shade in the past month. I did not have much of a dip on it at all in the last update. I'd only used it 7 times, and I used it an additional 5 times in the past month, bringing me up to 12 uses. We do have a dip on this eyeshadow shade that we did not have before, and I would love to hit pan on this soon. It's one of the last shades in here that doesn't have pan on it, and it deserves a pan. It is hungry for a pan. I want to give it a pan, and I want to give a pan to all of you. I would really like to focus on this in the month of May and hopefully have a pan to share with you on that next month. Here we have Warm Taupe, and this was one of my focus shades for the month of April. I was pairing this with Cypress Umber almost every day to fill in my brows. I used it a whopping 13 times in the past month, bringing me to a total of can't do math, bringing me to a total of 35 uses. As you can see, we do have a little nice pan on there, a new pan to share with all of you, and that is very exciting. This is a shade that I definitely had to get to know a little bit. I wasn't quite sure how to use it. I've been mixing it a little bit with Realgar, which some of you recommended, and that's been working quite nicely. I do enjoy that. And I've also just been trying to embrace it by itself for cool tone transition, and it works very well in the brows. in conjunction with Cypress umber. I basically use Cypress umber in the outer part of my brow and this one on the inner part of my brow, and I really like it. I don't have that in my brows today, but you can take my word for it. It's working out well. So I definitely plan on focusing on that and expanding that pan, using it in my eyebrows and in eyeshadow looks. And last but not least, we have this finicky, very stubborn shade here. This is Realgar. In the past month, I was really trying to focus on this and get a nice dip in it. I've used it 7 times, bringing me to a total now of 20 uses. And I hope you will be able to see that it does have a little bit more of a dip in it now. This shade is so pigmented. I use it, I swear I do, but you wouldn't hardly tell by looking at the progress I have made. That's another one I'm going to focus on in the next month. And how fun would it be if in the next update I have 2 new pans to share with you? I would just be so jazzed. I hope that you would as well. There you have it. That is my update on my progress for my Pan That palette of 2022, the ABH Modern Renaissance palette. I hope you are enjoying following along with me as I use up as much of this product as I possibly can during this year. I did take a weight on this last month. It was weighing 184.64 grams. And today when I weighed it, we have 184.25 grams. So I have used 0.39 grams in the month of April. So we'll see. The first time I've compared the weight over the months. It'll be interesting to see how much weight progress I'm able to make from month to month and kind of find a good average for all of you. And my goals for the next month will be to hit pan on Realgar, Venetian red, and to finish up Tempera. And I'm going to leave it at that. I think that's enough goals for me for today. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more from me, please give this video a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below. Have you been panning this palette? How's it going for you? If you aren't panning this one, which one are you working on? Because I would love to see your progress as well. Subscribe to my channel if you are not already so you don't miss any of my project pan updates. I will leave all of my project pans in the description box below so you can check them all out if you haven't already. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you're doing well, and I can't wait to see you in my next video.